My name is Carly, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome to my writing vlog. I have a 9 to 5 and I'm running my indie imprint. So this is basically documenting how I'm balancing everything that I need to do. In lots of vlogs, I see people sort of going through the writing process, but not really explaining what else is there to do. I think sometimes leading to sort of a mismatched expectation what is entailed in being an indie author, indie publisher. So yeah, so what you will see me do is balancing, juggling lots of projects in different stages. And for this week, one of my main objectives is to input corrections for my upcoming release of Slow Moon Golden Lake. It's going to be out in November, and I'm beyond relieved that I'm having all my ducks in a row so I can have that there and then concentrate on something else. That's beyond amazing. I'm always trying to be slightly before schedule just because there's so much going on. This year, I had 4 releases in total. From next year onwards, I want to go back to 2 releases, even though I have enough books to release. But for financial reasons, that's not possible to put so many books out. Copy editing, as it should be, is expensive. Cover design is expensive. And these are the 2 main areas that I'm outsourcing. I do all my typesetting myself and some like typography in the covers if I, yeah, if I'm trying to scale back the budget, to be honest. Um, but apart from that, I really like to rely on experts, especially as you notice, I have an accent. I'm not an English native speaker, so I really want someone to look over everything and give me feedback. So that's where we are. The main thing are the ebook um, corrections, but I'm also working through a first draft of mine, which has the working title Dragon Watch, and which is part of my Tales of the Uncursed series that will begin to release, oh, I don't know, 2020. 2027, probably. So as you can see, I'm working like with a really long pipeline, but this also means that I'm sort of, yeah, in between everything, can switch projects in and out where I think it makes sense. At the moment, I'm focusing the a lot also on like shorter standalones to give more of an entry point into my writing. Last June, I published a novella that is a good entry point if you want to check my writing out. The Boy Who Played the Queen, which is very much inspired by Shakespeare's theatre scene and like the stipulation that boys or young men need to play the women. So yeah, that's me. And at the start of another busy week, I'm still catching up with work after being away. And yeah, generally the sort of more quietish summertime seems to come to an end now. Everyone's returning to their desks. And yeah, that's sort of the main gist of it. I'm also starting to prepare for more events to come. I have a really busy schedule from sort of November, August and onwards through to December, where all book events seem to be scheduled around that time. I also have yarn markets. I'm also like a fiber person. I'm spinning, I'm dyeing, I'm knitting. So I need to do some preparation for that in the coming weeks. Um, And yeah, this morning I'm feeling a bit more relaxed. That might change very soon. And I think today I'm going to spend my sort of lunchtime writing sprint on my first draft manuscript, where I'm probably now. So the first goal was 25 chapters. I'm now in chapter 16. But there might be more. I'm not quite sure whether I can manage it in 25 chapters. That's the plan for today. See you in a bit. I managed to have quite a good lunchtime writing sprint. I think I did like 3.5 pages, a bit more, almost 4 pages, which is good. Sort of not quite half a chapter. Um, like based on where I am in the manuscript, I'm not in the middle of a section, but at the beginning of a new one. I think that's something I need to be happy with. I also failed to mention that um, I finished one of my passes to another manuscript. I sent Season of Frosted Blossom out to beta reading this weekend, and because someone requested an EPUB file, and I then had to check that everything works out on an e-reader app, as I've got sucked into it again, which is a good sign, definitely a good sign. I mean, I always find lots of things to tweak, but this just means that I have another version to work in when the feedback comes back, which is great. So yeah, that's sort of the news. Haven't started on the corrections for the Volume 6 ebook edition yet. Oh, the sort of the dreaded ones, to be honest. I might just leave that for the weekend to figure out. And that's a sort of very short update. And yeah, tomorrow I'm working from the office, so I won't have more than like a bit of time to do another short writing sprint in my break time. Usually I'm also meeting up with a writer friend on Tuesdays. Not quite sure whether he's actually there or if he's on holiday. I need to check. But Tuesdays are often like our time to ping ideas off each other. We are working on a science fiction project at the moment. I have worked, I've basically written 2 bits for it. One of them he already has to work through, the other one I need to type. So that's sort of not urgent, but it's sort of an underlying thing going on. Like one of the main themes of this blog is literally there's so many projects. But that's what I want to convey, that there's always something in the back of your mind that needs to be done. And I think because I've written for a long, long time, I mean, not to that extent that I then proceeded to do like a professional way of publishing. Um, but I also did like all the theses that I did for uni. It's sort of a very familiar feeling. And sometimes I wonder whether it's also a bit of a feeling that I'm so used to that I need it to think or find that everything's normal. I don't know. That's one of the things that I'm looking into, trying to find out about myself. This whole enterprise has been a bit of a self knowledge mission anyway. Um, and I'm finding that by sitting down, talking to the camera, that I'm finding out more about my own opinions, tastes, whatnot. It's not always easy to do everything internally, and once sometimes it just needs to be spoken. So yeah, short update. See you in a bit. It's Tuesday, early evening. This was quite a good day. I worked in the office and I was able to do a little writing sprint in my lunch break. It turned out that my friend was on holiday, so we didn't have a writers meetup, but I sent there anyway. That was fine as well. That just meant I got a few more pages in. Mm. And then I also managed to do like progress on my pass on the big chunky manuscript that I want to whittle down as much as I can. So that felt really good to see the number of words slowly coming down, like one word by one word. But so I think it also makes me a bit more ruthless to say, we don't need this, so just get rid of it. And I think at the end, the manuscript will be the better for it. I mean, I have a tendency to trim anyway. And then it usually upsets me more if the editor says, "Oh, we need something here," or a beta reader says, "Oh, we need another scene here," and it's like, um, I find it much more easier to just get rid of stuff, which, yeah, somehow I managed to be quite just, yeah, you can always write more, but for some reason, if I need to write more on a specific thing that I've sort of marked as finished, it always makes me more unhappy. Now I'm going to make myself something to eat and I think just have a more relaxed evening. So make some tea. Oh yes, tea would be really nice. And then tomorrow, working from home market day. I don't really need that much, but I might buy some flowers or something because yeah, the dahlias have now faded that I got last week, and they have like maybe some sunflowers. Some sunflowers might be nice. I'll have a look what I find tomorrow. Um, Apart from that, yeah, I think same old, same old. Trying to work on Dragon Watch tomorrow. Probably nothing else. I find it, yeah, sometimes I find it difficult to have something going on that I want to make progress with, and then all the other bits and pieces. But almost forgot. I was able to submit the final files for volume 6 yesterday, I think. So that's amazing. I am now waiting for them to pop up so I can approve them and then order the first copy with the cover and everything to have a look. Everything's fine. So I might do that this week as well. Um, Although I might also do just because I'd like to group the sendings from Ingram Spark because the handling fee and the shipping, if I can send 2 books instead of one, it's always better. So because it's not that urgent on volume 6, I might do um, a first proofreading pass on the book for next spring and have them shipped together that might be another thing I could do. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry. You're here in real time while I'm figuring stuff out. And the sun does weird stuff. Okay. See you in a bit. It's Wednesday midday. I've just returned from the market. I took an executive decision that I wouldn't try and write today because the weather is going up and down, and I found myself a bit headachy. I'm really trying to listen more to my body when it says, oh, I don't have the bandwidth today, that I don't push on through it. I used to do that all the time. And looking back in hindsight, I don't think that the outcome really warranted the means. I think it only like dug in deeper this concept of powering through. And I'm trying to divest myself from it. It's going to be a long, long process, but this is why I literally just walked out to the market and came back again. Um, Today's sprouts are broccoli and pea because the lovely vendor has sold me a couple of chervil um, seeds. Um, and I wanted to buy two of her just to make up for it because she gave the chervil to me for free. So yeah. Then, ooh, check, place them. Got the obligatory lamb's lettuce. I don't know why I love the texture of this so much, but I really, really do. And I got two lovely new onions. I love those when they're really fresh and really firm. So I'm trying to do something nice like caramelized oniony thing with it. Um, One tomato that can has a few more days of getting ripe because I have one that I need to use up. Um, Two peaches again. And then there was a new samosa stand. So for my lunch today, I got two samosa to try, and they're smelling amazing. And then because the sunflowers, well, great. So I thought I need to get myself some sunflowers just to brighten up the space. It's chaotic. It's, yeah, books everywhere, but you can't have too many flowers around, really. So, yeah, that's today's haul. And apart from that, I see if I can bring myself to do a bit of um, working on the other parts of the big project today. Mm, at the moment, I'm not sure. Maybe I just need to calm down a bit. I think last week I might have done a bit too much, starting to jump in again and hustle. And I think I'm now seeing the after effects of it, where I don't really want to. And like being productive is not my problem. My problem is rest, taking rest. So we are working on it together today. I'm just trying to chill the fuck out. Don't know if that works. Um, and then tomorrow I'm in the office again, and usually like the writing sprints work quite well in the office. So I can just say, okay, tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow I can write the other half of chapter 17 if I want to. And if I don't want to, that's fine too. I'm going to get better. See you in a bit. it's Friday morning, and there's been a bit of a development over the last few days. I actually managed to get back into writing Dragon Watch. As always, the key was to find a dialogue that I was really interested in, and then it started to spiral or just to continue from there. That seems to be what gets me back into the zone, just to latch on to a conversation between two characters. I am now on chapter 18, and you can see, so that's a bit deceptive, but that's where we are. Um, I wrote a fair bit yesterday. I even felt compelled when I had a bit of a waiting period of half an hour to write in the car. That doesn't happen that often, but is one of the reasons why I love having hardcovers as like notebook hardcovers, because that makes it a bit easier to write anywhere, anytime. And I think also one of the reasons why I started just or why I'm still handwriting my first draft at all is just you can just whip it out. You don't have to do any setup, just and get started. So yeah, that's one of the big reasons. I also had a phone call yesterday with a friend who beta reads a season of Frosted Blossom, which was really nice, and we got talking a bit about the book. I had asked her specifically to look at the more like the spice scenes, because a season of Frosted Blossom is a bit unusual in that it has like more, I wouldn't really call it spice. It's not to really to get you going. It's more because of how the character is and how he connects to the world. So there will be more of that in the narrative. And because my staff has a bit, but usually not a lot, um, I wanted to have like more eyes on them. And also because I know this friend is quite like, she has read a fair bit, but she's also very let's say discerning concerning spice. I Because I mentioned before, spice scenes are one of my pet peeves when I read books, because they sound the same across the board. I definitely don't want that. I want something different. So we had a nice conversation, like an initial conversation, where she basically said, "Oh, this is how I'm looking at it. This is how I'm like making suggestions." And I said, "Yes, that's exactly what I want. I want to know where I need to go deeper, where I need to maybe move certain aspects of the story." And because Season of Rose of Blossom is a bit weird in the aspect that it's all set in one setting, it's like there's no travel. Usually, my books have huge amounts of travel through like an exciting world, but because it's more like a stage play, um, it is so important to get the pacing right. And because I don't have any action scenes to just throw in, or travel scenes or new discoveries of new exciting places, it is, yeah, more like a play in that aspect and needs some careful calibration. So that was really cool. So we sort of talked about, once she's all the way through, that we are doing like a proper call with like screen sharing and stuff, and go through it bit by bit. So I'm really exciting for that. Um, what else? I've progressed a bit more in my next pass of the second book of the Sun and Flame duology. I'm I've come to the realization that I think it's pretty much like a good approach to do it like this, because what I will then do is like finish the go through of the second book, go to the first book to make sure like A, proofreading, B, like have another check that there's continuity, and then go back into the second book um, maybe with a few weeks of distance, um, and do the last tweaks, or like maybe see what I can lose of the manuscript. So far, I'm making progress like one word at a time. I think I can manage to get under 180,000 words just by tightening up the language, and then I need to have another look what like sections. I don't think I'll remove complete chunks, but maybe just shorten scenes. One of the beta reader who worked on that project gave me a few suggestions, and I want to look at them again, whether I've actually implemented all of them or just a few. And so, yeah, I want to go through those again and maybe like be a bit more ruthless. But this is why, as I've explained a couple of times, I need time. I need the space to just yeah, have the distance, the like be cold of heart, um, to go in and slash and yeah, get rid of. Um, I think I remember one of the suggestions was to cut a whole story bit um of one of my favorite characters, and I'm sorry, uh, I couldn't bring myself to do that. I will look at it again, but I don't think I can because that was such a fun bit because it's sort of in a second part. They're traveling. It's a travel book, and you need a bit of relief in between. Because I've finished The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, and one of the things that I found that made this a 4-star book rather than a 5-star book is that there is no relief in between. It's all horrible all the time. I mean, with a bit of frisson put in, but I couldn't get through this quickly because it was like bam, 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 like emotional onslaught all the time, and it just needed a bit of and especially if characters are traveling, I think there needs to be a bit of other concern mixed in there. So yeah, this is why it took me really long to read The Unbroken, much longer than I usually spend on a book. I've since moved on to Cursebound, which is the second volume after Feybound, and I think I know or I remember what irked me the last time with it, because I love the world, I like the characters, but I think the writing is not up to scratch. That sounds bad. Um, it's just that maybe because my eye is so on proofreading at the moment that I'm extra critical, not just with my stuff, but with everything I read. I think The Unbroken was really tight in that respect. It could like have a few, maybe just a few things here and there, but Cursebound so far feels a bit sloppy. I don't think that's. I think it's deliberate. I think that's supposed to be the style, but it's just not my taste. I. mm, It's not overly flowery, but there's just some where I think I would have tightened the screws. Maybe that's just I'm alone in my opinion with that, but I think that's it's always such a shame from my reading experience when I noticed that I love the world building. The world building is really interesting, but it's just the execution isn't at the same level as I would like it to be. Let's say it like this. I know reading is, I mean, famously subjective, and yeah, I mean, there's so many books that I love, other people don't, and vice versa. I really try to see the best of everything. But at the end of the day, I have a literature degree, and that colors my reading experience, I'm afraid. It also colors my writing experience because one of the things that came up in the talk I had with my friend was that she said, "Oh, I think this is starting to sound a bit more, I don't know, Slow Moon is adult, but it's quite accessible because it's like the language isn't very flowery. It's not. It has like, lots of bad language in there as well. Season of Rose Blossom is way more complex. Let's say it's like it has it discusses things and not as sort of yeah their themes, but they really looked at it from different angles. One of the as I mentioned before, one of the inspirations was the Decameron, where people sort of a Renaissance text. Um, it's not on that level, of course not. How could it be? But it has a bit of the like layering, so it's not as playful as Slow Mo can be. I mean, sometimes it's also not that playful, but it's not. I like that my books have very different feels to them, and I think A Season of Frost Blossom is it's almost more like a literary fantasy, maybe if you can describe it like this. While Slow is more old-fashioned, not really, but it's like way more lets you in way more easily, and the main point is like the journey of self-knowledge and the exciting stuff that happens and how they explore their gifts. And the one that I'm proofreading at the moment is much more the style is much more succinct, much more because it's also like more young adult related, but I wanted not to go like the flowery route because I think that's something that can go wrong so quickly, um, and has been done to death as well. So I don't really see myself as if I need to do that. So I wanted to have like short sentences, like very uh yeah, concise, I think is the best expression for it. And so it's a different style again as well as sort of third person present, which is not something that I write in a lot, and that certainly gives a few challenges, but also the immediacy is quite interesting. I might have mentioned that before, but some time ago, a beta reader said something to the point of, oh, when you're writing first person, you actually don't have as much introspection in your book. If you're writing third person, there's much more. And I think that's one of the things where I say, if I tell it from a person's standpoint, it's like, I do this, I do that. It's always already colored by their emotions. It's already like vibing with how they see the world. When I do third person, I need to inject that a bit more. I need more thoughts. I need more. I think that's how it came about. Yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to talk today about today. At the moment, I'm just glad that I came to a place where I'm happy to write on. Um, I've looked at the sort of outline again. Outline is a very strong word for the bullet points that I have, and I'm coming to the conclusion that more and more that actually what I thought might be the end point of the thing is going to move into like a new volume of the series, Um, that will then tie it a bit more together with what happened before. While I think I want this one to not sprawl again, because as I said, that is one of my main problems with the book I'm proofreading at the moment. It is massive. It just because it opens up a whole new world. It makes sense for that book. It's just for me as the writer myself, it's quite jarring to have like the tightly contained first book and then of the second book. So I'm just trying to see how I can like fit it in a bit more. But I'm very aware that this is one of the things like the contrast, which is also why I think it needs to be a duology, because then the contrast makes sense in a way. If it's like first book and then the next two books sprawl, um, it's more unbalanced. If it's sort of a alpha and omega thing, I think it works a bit better. Um, the Tales of the Uncursed is a bit weird anyway, because it's a series of standalones that is centered around one person who's not the POV character. So yeah, that which is really interesting, but like it's really interesting to write as well, but it's different. So um, yeah. So I think I will work to contain the series as opposed to what I had originally planned. But I think it's also going to be starting to connect the volumes a bit more, which was not part of the original plan. I mean, the original plan, to be honest, was that everything can stand on its own, which it will be. I want to make sure that it can stand on its own. Um, but I mean, it's still the third volume in a connected series, and it the series structure itself needs to make sense as well. So I think it is okay if I'm now trying to tie in the knots, basically. Yeah, it's a lot of thinking, a lot of staring into space, but it's very. I I sort of love this place, but I'm also hating it at the same time. It's a really weird situation where if I know where I need to go, I write quite quickly. And then once I'm starting to dither, oh, I don't know what should happen here. My original plan doesn't really work out. I need to change it. But can I make the original work? No, I can't. Uh, I need to sit down and have a rethink. And that's the point where I'm at now. But it feels a bit as if I'm on ground that is more secure, and that feels good. I'm going back to the swimming lake today because it's Friday, and I really want to make the most of having this opportunity of having a wild swimming place. Once my half day Fridays stop, I don't know if I can make it work, which is an utter shame. I would love to do it. I might have to pick like a day in the week after work, but then in winter it's going to be dark. So I'm not quite sure how long they will be open in the winter. So I have to play it by ear. All I know that swimming is such a valuable outlet for me, and it's just the kind of movement that I'm feeling really comfortable with, and that I really want to do. I'm sitting here now. I want to go in the water. Um, and I've long realized that this is the way how I can do sport. I have a really fucked up relationship between exercise and like coming from a long history of disordered eating, whatnot. So yeah, that's why I really, you'll see in those writing blogs, this stuff is like repeating because I'm also a very strongly habit forming, let's say. Um, and as long as I can, I will try and go to the lake on Fridays. I mean, that means you get like a lovely lake picture. But apart from that, I've collected the key from my friend yesterday, so I will be moving in um at the end of the day. But I'm also basically going to the lake, and then I'm going to see another friend, um for like be with her for the evening. I think I need to take some sort of crafty thing. I might take my drop spindle, um because yeah, I don't really have anything else at the moment. I in 2 weeks' time I have my next yarn event, um, which I'm looking forward to, but it's also going to be, because it's a 2-day event, it's going to be hard work. Um, I might Next week I might start and load up the car again, like very slowly with bits and pieces. Doing books and yarn events makes me appreciate how much lighter all the woolly stuff is, apart from the spinning wheels and the gazebo as well. But yeah, we're moving into the busy season, which is good. Um, it's a bit unnerving, really, that you spend most of the first part of the year booking and paying fees, and then the chance to earn out comes much later. Yeah. So today, swimming, meeting a friend, moving into the house with my rented cat, basically. I can't wait to have a cat again for a week. And after the week, I'm usually okay. I'm fine at the moment. I don't need to go to a shelter and get another cat. Because he's quite full on. He's very clingy, especially with his family away, and me, the only person who can give stretches. But the weather is supposed to be quite nice. It's quite cool at the moment, which also suits me, which also means the water will be quite cool in the lake, but we're going to work with that. And then see you in a bit. It's Saturday, like almost noon. Yesterday, I moved in and was greeted by a very cuddly cat, which was amazing. What I usually do when I'm cat sitting is that I spend a bit of the time at home, which is 5 minutes drive away, and then going back to the cat in the afternoons, just so I don't have to carry too many things around with me. Um, but it's always very nice to have someone waiting. They also have like fish and chickens, so I taking care of all of those animals. Yeah, I mean, I've written a fair bit again. I'm now in chapter 19, which brings me to the conclusion that 25 chapters probably won't be enough. I'm now considering how many chapters to tack on. I also came to another realization yesterday that was a bit not realization, that's not the right word. Um, a plot point or a development that I wasn't aware of. I thought that fits really well. That explains so much. Let's do that then. Um, and that has not popped up on any of my outline notes whatsoever. It came out of the blue. Just something where you realize, ooh, that's exactly the explanation that I need at this point. So it was a bit disconcerting, but I think I sort of now starting to rearrange stuff. I think I mentioned that before, but Dragon Watch is one of the the manuscript that I'm writing not with a firm structure in mind. It's more of an like I used to write, like lots of like just more exploratory and just ooh, let's do that. Ooh, let's do that. Um, I think this also speaks to the point that it's probably not going to fit into 50,000 words. Those contained projects tend to be shorter. I'm still in two minds about it. I might change my mind again. You're watching me thinking, staring in real time here. Yeah, I recently noticed that at the moment, especially when I'm not sure, I stare into space so much that people get irritated and think I'm looking at them. When I'm just sitting at the table in the cafe, just fixing my eyes somewhere. Because, yeah, I need to look somewhere, but I'm not looking outwards, I'm looking inwards. And I think some people can't really deal with that. It's really fun. Um, but yeah, that's where I am, chapter 19, and they've basically just received their mission. I hadn't thought that I would do like a proper mission for this one, but I thought it's maybe good to spell out the objective, not just for the characters, but also for myself. And then I got the first feedback from my copy editor on Way Back When, and that was really nice. What I love about my editor is that they um they always send me like a list with what this mean, what does this mean, and sometimes I'm just I don't know what it means. It was just for vibes. And I need to struggle and find, yes, okay, this is what it's supposed to mean. Maybe it needs to change. I've seen that at work at my 9 to 5 in academic publishing. I've seen I have like copy editors do exactly the same thing. Just what does it mean? And it's usually when academics try to be too clever, and I think that's exactly what's happening here. I'm trying to be too clever, or just too um, and I think a good copy editor always brings you down to earth with a thud. Um, so yeah, that was fun. I just answered the email and did my best to decipher what actually needs to change. What was it? What I meant? What's an actual mistake? And then also, because it's supposed to be a standalone novella, it needs to explain certain things that I'm just, because I've been writing in this world for so long, just taking for granted. But yeah, I did it. I sent the email. So that's a relief. I also went to one of my favorite local shops, is one of those old-fashioned ones where you find basically single screws and single bits and pieces, but they have everything from paint to caps. I don't know. And I got some S hooks because I want to build something to display my skeins of yarn. At the moment, when I'm at the market, I have everything, like all the yarn in a basket. So, but then people need to actually go into the basket and need to see colors and stuff. So I want to have a construction almost like a cloth rack. Um, I'm probably going to get some bamboo sticks and do it a bit like the whole vibe of my stand is sort of baskets, handmade things. So it's just going to be some bamboo sticks and some gardener's twine, I think, just to build something that works as a rack where I can hang the skeins and just attract people with the colours. I've I've already made sure that the basket was really full, so you have a few colours on top. But I think a rack for at least a few things will work really well. So yeah, that's what I'm building for the market that's happening in 2 weeks' time. And we're at the cusp of another heat wave. Yay! The good thing is that the house that where I'm cat sitting in has air conditioning, as opposed to this little cottage which had literally nothing. So hopefully I can at least have cool nights because it can't really sleep when it's hot and sticky. It's just not doesn't really work. So I hope I can at least take advantage of that I can cool down the room I'm sleeping in. And I think I'm going to wrap the vlog up here. So it's basically Monday to Saturday. It gives me a day tomorrow to upload everything. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. I am still trying to figure things out. I'm probably going to do like a booktube newbie tag very soon. And at the moment, I'm also thinking about starting to do different kinds of videos, not just the vlog type of thing, just because um, of upload reasons, really. But yeah, if there's something that you would like me to talk about, let me know. Um, yeah, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, would be amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.